Do you remember what you told me? If you think it, it's yours. Sounds like a line that somebody says to you before they give you something that you really didn't ask for, but you gotta pretend that it's something that you've always wanted. And then you're gonna look through the package for a gift receipt, realize that the gift receipt is still in their pocket or even in their purse, and you have to sneak away while that person is distracted talking to a relative that they don't actually have anything in common with, but you're like, please talk about this. It's the holidays. It's the holidays. Gotta talk to the relatives, holidays. You go get that gift receipt. You realize it's not valid, but you think if you go to the right store and you talk to that cashier you've always had a thing for and you think that she has a thing for you, you might be able to get store credit and get something that you actually want. Unlike the map that leads to you, an Amazon original based on a novel by J.P. Moninger, you have to be really careful saying that goddamn name, don't you? It also comes to us from the director of What's Eating Gilbert Grape, as well as the Cider House Rules, Chocolat, Dear John, that did not have an actual deer in the leading role. That's disappointing. It would have been hilarious. It would have been bestiality, which is not illegal in all the states, oddly enough, you sick freaks. Then he also did Safe Haven. And this is... There are two people that wrote this, by the way, and one of the writers actually did Dante's Peak and The Darkest Hour, which really explains a lot. There was one snippet of a review, I did not write the name down, but it was on Rotten Tomatoes, where somebody said, this movie is so divorced from reality, it should be grounds for divorce. Not wrong, by the way. You have Madeline Klein, who is endearing enough, and for whatever reason, decided to be in the most recent I Know What You Did Last Summer. That was terrible. She looks good, but it was terrible. She plays Heather, who is along for the ride with a couple of her friends, Amy and Connie. And then she meets a guy named Jack, played by KJ Appa, who's very, very Australian/New Zealand. And saying the word can't still makes me laugh. I'm sorry. I'm immature. I don't care. And a romance develops, but obviously a curveball is thrown. And boy, if this movie's any more generic and any more basic and any more bland, it would actually come with a bingo card. Oh, wait, it does. Unlikely romance? Check. Friends that have a situation that you must address very quickly? Check. Friends that find unlikely love, even though they never expected it? Check. Beautiful locations that Amazon no doubt shelled out a bunch of money for? Check. Bunch of pretty people flirting with each other and everything around all these beautiful locations? Check. And a third act that sort of wraps everything up in a nice, neat little bow. Oh boy, I got the free space, which means I can just punch the goddamn bingo card and burn it. And hopefully burn, any memory of the map that leads to you. Look, I fully recognize I am not the audience for movies like this, but after watching my Oxford year and other stuff this year, I've seen some rom-coms that actually aren't that bad. I like The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, even as sad as that movie was. And some other stuff. I mean, there's We Live in Time, which obviously had a bigger budget than this. And look, there are movies with the rom-com or just the romance side that actually work. A romantic drama, whatever. This isn't that. This is just so devoid of anything like, I don't even want to say reality-based in a bad way, because you can have entertainment. This movie is literally just a snapshot, or a series of snapshots of a bunch of European locations and a bunch of bullshit, and it is at least under 90 minutes. The problem is that the movie still is dragged the fuck out. It's on Amazon if you want to check it out. But yeah, want to see pretty young people do things? This is the movie for you, you weirdos. Spoilers, there you go. So, I Hate Everyone Already is what I wrote about 10 minutes into this. And I mean the characters, I don't mean the actors. Josh Lucas is in this as a dad. He delivers his lines with more conviction than he did in Queen of the Ring, when he quoted Scott Hall's Hall of Fame speech. Anybody that has seen Queen of the Ring, you know what line I'm talking about. If you don't, you probably still know what line I'm talking about. So they just go around partying, having fun. The way that Jack and Heather meet is Jack decides to sleep on the luggage rack because he's kind of living the nomad lifestyle of working odd jobs and just living his life. By the way, he had a diagnosis. He had cancer, but he beat it. That's the curveball that's thrown in a little bit later on. They both bond over Hemingway. They talk about, Mary Welsh Hemingway, or Walsh Hemingway, that was there for Ernest's death. Bit of foreshadowing right there. So, montage, dancing, and ridiculousness. And this is all for his great-grandfather that had a journal that was all these locations, and trying to visit them and honor his name, and why the fuck not. And then it was a fun night. It wasn't on my bingo card. There you are. Oh, and Amy, played by Madison Thompson, who is endearing enough, I guess. She's not really given much of anything to do. She parties with a guy named Victor, who is not from Smoke Signals. That is a deep cut that really I don't think anybody watching this channel actually will get. And she lost her passport, her money, and all that stuff and everything. But they managed to find somebody that knew Victor. They find him. They chase him out the goddamn window. He jumps out in his skivvies and runs away. And they steal the stuff back, or take the stuff back. And for some reason, selfie sticks piss off Mr. Jack, which I don't necessarily blame him. They are kind of stupid, because people don't really understand boundaries, but it is what it is. As long as you're not actually bothering people, whatever. And all this over taking a bunch of selfies. You should take in life and everything and enjoy every moment. Was he judging them all this time? By the way, this movie, it just limps along like Carrie Von Erich after a motorcycle accident in '86. So, yeah, Jack had an early health scare. She extends her trip. Father Josh Lucas is upset. They meet some people. It turns out one of the old guys knew the great-grandfather. And I guess they speak Spanish. Was it Spanish or Italian? I don't care. I don't know what country it was. I don't know. I don't care. I hate this. Doesn't matter. And then they do end up getting it on halfway through. Jack and Heather, not the great-grandfather and the older guy. We don't judge here, but I think since the great-grandfather's been dead, that would be necrophilia, which is illegal. At least it should be everywhere. And there's a point where he runs with the bulls. Jack does. Gets gored, gets examined for, being gored in the ass and also an injured shoulder. And, yeah, they did have sex halfway through right before that. And then after getting examined, well, it turns out that actually there is some abnormality with his scan. Oh, no. Turns out the cancer came back, by the way. So, he kind of wants to keep her at arm's length, but he obviously cares about her being Madeline Klein. I don't know how you couldn't. But he'll come with her, but then he abandons her at the airport. So now she's back with family and friends and enjoying Christmas and working. But then she wants to find her purpose, and her purpose working in a bank really isn't a great thing. And her dad says, honey, all that stuff you talked about and everything and pre-planned, throw it out the window and do whatever the fuck you want. Because we are literally about at the end of the goddamn movie. I'm sure that there was more in the book. I don't care if there was more in the book. I hope that I never see anything adapted from a young adult novel again, even though I probably will. But she finds out that her friend Connie and Rafe, who met on this whole trip, are getting married. She goes to the wedding. That is actually where we started, was her looking all sad yet pretty in a white dress or white outfit. And then there you are, Madeline Klein remembers, something that happened just before they came back from their trip, or both of them were going to come back, but only she did. A page flew off. And it was something about, something about a parade and, a celebration and a festival. And basically she goes to find Jack. She finds him. He says he can't promise her a future, but she doesn't care because she loves him. And there you go. That's it. That's it. The movie soundtrack is all right. I'll say that much. Yeah, really, it just, what do you want? I mean, I'm a 44-year-old guy reviewing these movies where some connect with me, even with the young, pretty people that are doing whatever it is that young people do. And credit to Amazon for just throwing money at movies like this and hoping dopes like me will watch it. Yeah, not very good. Not very good at all. Gets an F. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland, and until we go off into Europe again, happy trails to you.